get a chance to chat with a guy right here who actually I first met him back in the early 90s. He was actually running dirt out at Otto Speedway. Him and his dad were actually out there together. Then later on, I found out he was basically running asphalt and winning a lot of races. He's a 9-time Oswego Speedway Super Modified champion, a 2-time ISMA champ, won last year, by the way. Finished second with the Midwest Supers. So let's head out to Canajoharie. It is shop night at Otto Sitterly's house here on Tuesday. You guys are getting this a little bit later in the week. Otto joins us. Hey, man, how we doing?
Doing pretty good, Doug. How about yourself?
Doing well. I see we actually fired the thing up in the driveway the other day.
Yeah, everything went pretty well. Got it running just to make sure we didn't have any leaks or drips, stuff like that, and just, made sure it was ready to go for Jennerstown. It's a big fast track, and it's next week already, so just want to be prepared, yeah.
I can't believe we're already talking about this. It seemed like just the other day we were months and months away, but the ISMA MSS season is getting going. Before we go back, because that's what this interview is about, these ones I've been doing lately, is who the heck are these guys? Thoughts on the merger before we get back to your past and how you got started?
I can't see where it's not a good thing. We had to do it. We, the Super Modified group, I think this is going to be a really good move. Hopefully, with shows like last year that Johnny did at Oswego, the 3 wing shows, I think that really sort of set the stage for what the possibilities are for the group. So he's promoting 5 shows at Oswego this year, 3 of them with the top wing. And the money was there, the competition was there. So I think just with the 2 groups coming together and trying to get everything, I know they have a lot of meetings, putting everything, aligned between the 2 groups. I think it's all a positive thing.
Very good. You guys have listened to some of the interviews we've done with some of the other guys who started at age 5 and 6. You did not get going. You were actually kind of a late bloomer in this, weren't you?
Yeah, I never sat in a race car until I was 21 years old.
How did that happen that way? I mean, your dad raced, right? You grew up around it, didn't you?
Yeah, my dad raced. I grew up my whole childhood was going to Fonda Speedway. In the later years, a little bit Lebanon Valley, Malta, the outlaw circuit. And my father was the kind of guy that never wanted me to race.
Really?
The expenses and the commitment, the work, all that. It was, he was always focused on his business and then focused on his racing. And but of course, when you grow up around it, I had the passion. So basically, I just took it upon myself and dug a car out of the junkyard. And
really,
I had to start at the very, very bottom. It didn't get any lower.
What was the bottom? What did you start in?
I started at my first racing car, was a 1974 Mustang 2. My high school buddy and I I towed it out of the junkyard and we took it to Votech in school, and we
really
put a roll cage in it and what have. Just a bunch of kids all getting together and doing it, really. And then, it was just me and my friend and my girlfriend at the time, and away we went.
Wow. So where did you race it first? And it must have taken with everybody. It must have taken a while to get it together, right?
It did take a while. I didn't have the finances to do anything. So I think it took us a couple of years maybe to put the car together. I may have had the car for a while, and then I think it sat for a while, and then I eventually got it finished. And the first place I ever raced it was Albany, Saratoga.
Oh, at the track at Malta. Nice. How'd you do?
Yeah. Not too well.
No. Was it a good car?
I was pretty much convinced. I told my buddy on the way there, that nobody else had even a chance. As soon as we showed up, I knew I was going to clean everybody's clock.
Really?
And I knew I was going to win. And we pulled in the gate, and somebody else had my number, so we had to repaint the number on the car, of course, by hand with a paintbrush,
The old-fashioned.
And and then we went out on the track, and I think for the first 3 laps, I forgot that it was an oval track, and I just kept right on going straight because I wasn't smart enough to let off the gas pedal and went right off the end of the track. But you would think after once or twice you would learn to, let out of the gas a little bit and turn, and I just kept going off the end of the track, each end.
How long did it take for that habit to change?
Oh, I don't know. Probably took a few weeks to keep it just on the dirt, just up on the track, on the surface. But we learned a lot along the way, and we ended up later, a couple of years, we won a championship in that class, and won a lot of races along the way. I probably won 20 some races, in that division, you know, and it's all relative, Doug. That car that was just a junker, you know, eventually we built one that was nice, and you know, it was actually a decent little race car. But it's all relative. Everybody had the same thing, you know. You're racing against guys that built all their own stuff, so you know, they weren't very fast or very expensive, but you were racing against all the same stuff. So, like I said, it's all relative. Doesn't matter if you're racing go-karts or, you know, super modifieds. It's sort of relative. Everybody's in the same thing.
So when did you go asphalt and go the super modified route, or did you do something else before that?
Yeah, no, I went from those 4-cylinder cars, and my father and I did get together for a year or two, and I ran the sportsman car in the early, I want to say like 91, early 90s. And then eventually I want to say 1995 was the first year I went to Oswego, and I just sort of, you know, I don't know if really, other than the small block super modified, I would have never went that route. But that's sort of what was appealing to me. It was something more affordable and, you know, slower and a place to be able to go and learn. But I think I just sort of wanted my own identity. So I think that's really what took me away from the dirt and brought me to, you know, to the pavement, to Oswego.
How long were you in the small blocks for?
You know, I don't think that my budget was very, very, very small budget when I started. So I think I ran out of money a couple times. So I ran a part of the season in 95 and a part of the season in 96. Played around on the dirt in 97, and then since 98, I've been there, you know, on the pavement. So 98 and 99, we were right up front weekly with a small block super.
Okay.
And then that was 98, 99, and then 2000, I was rookie of the year with a big block super modified. And you know, it's been quite a road that we've traveled in 22, 3 years, you know. The last 16 of them, of course, have been with Johnny Nicotra. I've won a championship, won a lot of races on my own. And then, of course, when he came along, I was just about out of the game because of the,
really,
you know, the financial commitment to it, you know, raising a family and having a household and maintaining a job, my wife and myself. You know, it was a lot. We fielded a car for 6 or 7 years out of my own pocket there. And so basically I sold my operation, and I was really not sure what I was going to do. I had aspirations of just not running. And that's when Nicotra made the call, and that one phone call, little did I know what it would do for my career.
Yeah, because at that time, you probably never thought we'd be talking about 9 super modified championships and all the winged super success, right? I mean, that was...
Right. I had one. I did win the championship the last year I had my car.
Oh, you did?
I won.
Okay.
Yeah, I won six super modified features. I won the $10,000 win race, and I won the championship. And then I had a pretty good crash in the classic, and was knocked out, and I had a few fractures here and there, and pretty bad bruises. And I put that car back together, and I sold it to Bob Hofer and Billy Samuels, and out of Oswego there, and it was only a matter of weeks, and Johnny Nicotra called and wanted me to put a car together for him, for Davey Hamilton to come in and drive. And, you know, I basically did everything he asked, and I did shake it down for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then his words were, "You're too good to not be in the game." And he bought another car. And then I had 2 of them.
So that was what really got you noticed. We only got about a minute to go. It goes really fast, like I said, Otto. So it was that ability to set that car up for him that kind of made John take a second look at you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, had I not even had my own success on my own, he would have never looked at me. You know, he didn't want just anybody. He knew that I would bring a really competitive piece to the track every week. And it was not only competitive, but it was always shiny, lettered up, good looking.
Nice.
And, you know, that's what he wanted every week. So that's been the deal for 15 years or more, is when the car comes to the track, it's just prepared the way I want it prepared. And if it's good enough for me, then Johnny's like, it's definitely good enough for him if it's good enough for me.
And that's the way that it went, guys, and the rest is history, as they say. We'll do some other stuff. I'm going to come out and see Otto at some point here soon and let you guys poke around the shop with me. Otto, I really appreciate you getting back to me. I really enjoyed this chat. I knew you started, but I didn't exactly know everything, so thank you very much, John. Otto.
All right. Take care, Doug.